Yeah. No.
Get your hands away from your face.
Sit up straight. And remember, Darnell and Brian, if either Marcus or...
like Fat Joe said, lean back.
You gotta lean back so we can actually get a shot of them.
Okay. Homies don't dance, they just pull up their pants and do the rock away. Lean back. Wow. Lean back. All right.
Legit.
You're so good.
Hey everyone, welcome to That's Alt, a show where a group of grown men talk about video games. I'm your host, Brian McBalls. With me I have Jordan Wade.
Hey.
Marcus, the only Tigger.
What's up?
And JD.
I'm here again.
Hey Bob, put a spin on this.
And today we are talking about the incoming spring tidal wave of video games. We got a lot of good titles coming out, and we're just going to talk about our expectations and what we're looking forward to. And I want to go ahead and start off with JD, and we're going to go kind of chronological order. January we got DMC coming out, and I know you're a DMC boy, so
yeah.
What you got, man?
I played all four of them. You know, I really didn't want to play too much, but one, 3, and 4, I played through it. I'm very torn about this game because it's a reboot of the whole entire storyline, which I find there's a love and hate in that because it's a reboot to begin with, but I'm watching a lot of the cinematics and they really fleshed out a lot of the new story that they're going with. So I'm kind of digging that, but I hate the fact that this kid is Dante, and I'm watching, what was it, Ninja Theory that's actually doing the story, the game mechanics too, and I'm watching that and I'm seeing that a lot of old Devil May Cry that works. The combo system, the grading system to it. So I'm like I said, I'm very torn about it. The fact that it looks great, the story looks great. Bad because the story looks great and it's not the original.
I think that if anything, probably the biggest gripe has been like the character design change.
Yeah,
which that's been the
and
biggest.
they've already announced DLC of it with Virgil being already the playable character after the release. So, you know, leave it to Capcom to pour out some more DLC.
Already planning the DLC before the discs is ready.
You got
Now, do you have an issue with the character design, or?
I kind of do because you have to get into some kind of mode to get the old design of the character, the white hair, red jacket. But the new character design, he doesn't scream Dante. That's not Dante's character to me. You know, they could have named him Jake and the game could have been Devil May Scream and I would have been like, alright, that's a different game altogether and I'll dig it. But
and maybe it's just that I played through the third one a bit and I played through the first one a bit, and so I don't have that emotional connection and investment that you have with the character. But for me it seems a little, no offense, seems a tad bit petty to be angry about a character's change in design, especially if it's a reboot.
Well, you should have saw the early developments of the character. He looks, maybe 60% different from what he is now.
Okay.
He looked a lot more like he was getting comparisons to like a young, like really young Mick Jagger.
Okay.
Yeah, white hair, really skinny, just a white beater, and that's it.
Yeah, DMC. I played through the first 3. I'm sorry. I played through 1, 2, and 4. I missed 3. And 4 really kind of left I didn't care for 4 that much.
A lot of people felt stale about that game.
Yeah, I'm willing to give it another shot. I do enjoy the combat system, so if it's staying pretty true to the combat system, I might check it out.
Yeah, a lot of the developers saying and a lot of the playtesters were saying that the fighting mechanics still stays intact. It's still good, but you could taste Ninja Theory's added on to it, where a lot of Dante was, short range or long range, controlling the battle. This one, they actually combined a lot of it together with his scythe, and I think like he has a grappling hook or something like that, to really sew the combos together to keep the action moving.
Gotcha.
My name, by the way, is Dante. But you can call me Dante the Demon Killer. Has a nice ring to it, don't you think?
Let's move on to Lost Planet 3, Marcus. I know you played the first. You played the first one, or
played both of them?
Both of them. Okay.
Yeah, played through 1 all the way through, which took a really weird turn at the end. Kind of felt a little bit like Zone of the Enders, because you just go from like these hulking mechs to all of a sudden now you have a flying mech and you're in basically space combat, like trying to kill like some guy that went after your father. 2 was a ton of fun. I know me and JD played through that. It was very co-op centric. Tons of fun with that, going through and just trying to earn the points to get all the stuff that you had to get, like in the roulette. Multiplayer, forming like basically a giant Gundam suit.
Yeah, you could combine 3 different vehicles to make a nuke, and if you could get that done, you know, pretty much everyone on the map deserves to die.
Yeah. Taking the blast shield and like doing Power Ranger poses behind it to shoot off a giant laser. So I mean, the game went, you know, like very anime style as far as what they did with it, but it also had a really good fiction that went along with it, with you being on this planet where you were mining like this heat source or new energy source to send back to, you know, like Earth, so that they could, you know, basically have power, because it was the last known heat source or form of energy. And that's where 3 goes. It goes back to basically like the origin of how they ended up on this planet.
We've been surveying an energy pocket, a big one out by Howling Pass. Don't need to tell you that we really need this one.
It does take a little bit of a different step to it, whereas the mechs aren't as overpowered with weapons and stuff. It's more, they're like mining mechs, so they're very crude in their design, so it's more like hand-to-hand style combat when you're in the mech. I think the design choice that they chose for it, with you going into first person when you're in the mech versus where it was third person before, so it's actually almost like, think of like Fight Night controls, like where you're actually like swinging the mech arms, and you know, like if you have like this giant bug that's trying to kill you, you actually can grab its arm and, you know, like pull it away and drill into it with the other arm. So that has a nice feel to it. And then also just looks like they're going a little bit almost Dead Space-ish with it, with how it has a little bit of horror element to it now, because you're on this unknown planet. So I'm really excited about it. The demo that I did get to play at a conference that I went to, it looks very promising.
Excellent.
Next time, I'm asking for triple.
Move on to February. We got Dead Space 3, and I've played the first one. I really enjoyed it. I love the survival horror genre, and I thought, like, in this, you know, space futuristic, like refinery ship, like it's just excellent. I love the lighting and the futuristic feel to it, and the corpse.
Yeah, and that's kind of where like those 2 games like definitely blur like right into each other, like with Lost Planet and Dead Space, because Dead Space almost feels like it's borrowing from Lost Planet with the planet that you go down to, now that they're looking for this this basically like relic that they've been, you know, following, and that they have this religion based upon. It's like you're going down to like an ice planet, so like a lot of it feels like Lost Planet, and Lost Planet's starting to feel like Dead Space, but it's gonna still have a lot of the, you know, Dead Space scares in it that everybody's grown accustomed to. And one of the cool things that they added was co-op, so that definitely brings a new style of gameplay to it, or definitely a new feel. And the way that they did co-op in the game is looking really unique, as far as how it changes based on whether or not you have somebody playing with you. The story changes.
Let's get one thing straight, Clark. We came to this frozen shithole to stop the markers, and nothing, not you or your obsession with Ellie, is gonna get in my way. You got that?
I know why I'm doing this. Do you?
So if you're playing by yourself, it's told one way. If you have somebody else with you, it's told a different way, because you have both of these characters interacting. So definitely it's had a good track record with the first 2, and looking to hopefully see some more of the same with the third one.
Aliens Colonial Marines is the next one I want to bring up. And I know this thing's been in development for a really long time now.
Yeah.
And I initially had a lot of high hopes for Aliens Colonial Marines, and it's mainly because I love the series. So
Shit out of me.
I'll face hugger.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it now. I think if it's been in development for so long, it's either a good sign or a bad sign. A lot of times it might be a bad sign. So
I've got to play it during the community Gearbox release of Borderlands. I can tell you that the game is phenomenal. Really action oriented, but you still feel not empowered. You're still a weak character throughout the whole deal. So it's always a struggling fight. And if you have, you play multiplayer or just a campaign itself, you always got that slight fear overall. It makes you a little bit more aware of what's going on around you or what's happening. Obviously, throughout the whole Alien series, it's like they were a little overpowered, the aliens, of course. And as a soldier, you're like, all right, I'll shoot. Now I'm going to run away from the darkness and grab more ammo and try trekking back out there. So, I mean, Gearbox is really doing a good job staying true to the IP.
And I think that's important because that was like my main worry going into this game was that, if you're going to be an overpowered soldier and able to, just demolish all of the aliens, then it doesn't stay true to the series. And it's nice to hear from you that there is still that element of that you're being hunted and you are the one that's at a disadvantage. And so for me, the game still seems exciting.
Yeah, you still have those portions in the game where you have to go into an area and you're basically like hunkering down and getting ready for like the onslaught before like everything starts showing up on your sonar that the aliens are coming for you. So like you're welding shut vents and everything, setting up turrets and setting up traps for them to try to give yourself the best shot of surviving, like what's coming at you.
Yeah, you will not survive in that game if you're just being the lone warrior whatsoever.
And is it designed like level by level, or is it a little open, like you're in a base, or is it just like...
It's very claustrophobic from what I understand.
Okay.
Because
there are some open levels to it, but it is really tight quarters.
Okay.
Like if you were playing the last iteration of Doom, was it Doom 3?
Doom, yes.
Yeah, where it was real close, claustrophobic, and a lot of dark places. But as a team, you could overcome anything. One person, good luck.
Okay.
next on the list, we have Metal Gear Revengeance. You're the Metal Gear guy.
Yeah, I am the Metal Gear guy. I bought the Zone of Enders HD collection, which came with the demo of Revengeance. I played Revengeance the first time around, just wanting to roll through it, and I see the elements of where Kojima's team took it and then they handed it off to Platinum.
Okay.
But after that, after playing Vanquish, you know, the game that came out just a couple years ago earlier, really high-paced game, I could see where they were trying to forge that into Revengeance, and it's a love. I love it and I hate it, because I love it because it's action-paced, but I hate it because it's not really a Metal Gear game. It's something that happens in the Metal Gear universe altogether.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the main protagonist, Raiden. It's 4 years after the Sons of Patriots saga or episode that happened on the Metal Gear Solid 4. So the story, it plays into with the timeline of Metal Gear, which is also cool because it doesn't hinder the next Metal Gear after that altogether. It's like they're splitting off in two different directions for the developing team. It's fun. There's a lot of quick time events. There's a lot of action pace that you have to be aware of. Very similar to Vanquish, but I'm a little disappointed. But I'm hoping that this demo was just the tip of the iceberg of what other stuff could happen to the main protagonist.
Was the swordplay really? Was it really rewarding? Because I mean, obviously, that was the promises with the original concept that we saw. The swordplay looked amazing, but obviously, that had issues with the design and whatnot.
They give you elements that you could slice up, and there's a lot of other elements that you just really can't.
Okay.
You can see the boxes in the corner and be like, oh, I could chop that up, and even the training simulation in the beginning, there's like 3 watermelons right there, and I'm like, oh, I know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Slice, slice, slice.
Okay.
It kind of breaks up the fighting mechanic a little bit, because there's a part you could take the game in 2 ways. You could either go head on, brute everyone up, beat them up face to face, or you could sneak around.
Okay.
Now, if you happen to just have one lone soldier sneaking around, you could either assassinate him or you could melee him a bunch of times and then initiate the sword action, and that pretty much demolishes them all together. But if you have a group of people, say if there's one person here and the 3 other guys are facing the other direction, you could come up to this guy, beat him up, slice him up, and these 3 guys won't even know what's going on. So, and it's the only way that you could actually revitalize life in there too. So it's a necessary factor in the game, and it's a cool little niche piece to it. But I mean, it's not the award-winning, you know, thing that they'll win in people's hearts over.
It's not what they hyped it up to be in like E3 07 or 08, whenever they. Then we move into March, and I have Tomb Raider, and I'm looking forward to this game. I'm usually not a big Tomb Raider fan, but the engine of that game just looks amazing, and the bow and arrow play looks like it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, it looks definitely looks really good, especially with Square Enix taking over. You know, now that they acquired Eidos, so. The bow and arrow and the survival aspect of it, now that we're going back into like a reboot of the, well, not a reboot, but more of an origin story of Lara Croft, her first big adventure. The biggest draws that have come from it have been like, especially with a lot of games coming out like that, and Crisis has been like things have been going like towards the Hunger Games now. Like everything's got to have a bow and arrow. Right. But the accuracy of that weapon in the game, especially like once you first get it, and like how you use it in the game is phenomenal, because it's just everything that you pick up as far as what you acquire is pretty much scavenged. You actually have survival elements of you know, like having to find your first camp and then going in having to find food and fire, and your bow and arrow, you actually pick that up off of a dead body in the demo. So game's looking really good. I'm looking forward to it, and from what I've seen, everything looks promising.
Excellent. Next we have God of War Ascension. I hear the multiplayer on this thing's pretty amazing.
That's what they've been hyping up.
Yeah, I got to play it over at MLG's, and they were doing a 4-on-4 tournament to it, and each individual character has their own special abilities. I've seen I've seen the main game to it, the single player to it, and you know, they're using their PlayStation 3 potential up down to the last core. Of the finest details, everything that you expected at God of War 3, there's even more detail into it. So they really polished up the game. Now the added side to the multiplayer, I found myself almost addicted to it. It was a 4-on-4 combat, and you have to sacrifice the giant in the back. His name escapes me right now, but it's domination where you have to take down 3 points to sacrifice the monster in the background. The spear comes down, and one of the characters, either your team or the other team, goes over and kills it. Now, if you're winning and you sacrifice the monster, you automatically win the match. But if the other team gets it because they're lower on points, they have a chance of actually winning the match by sacrificing the monster and killing all the opposing opponents also. So I mean, it's a real good twist with. They got 4 characters that are on pretty much Zeus's side, and he grants them all different kinds of abilities with electricity. So I mean, the magic play, the combat keeps rolling with it. And if you're familiar with the God of War series, the way the combat works, you know, it's just picking it up and just playing. I had no problem, no learning curve to it whatsoever.
I'm ready for that one.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right to you, Lieutenant Baird?
Next we have Gears of War Judgment. I think we've all played Gears here.
Oh yeah,
I've heard of it. I know of it.
A lot of time logged in the horde mode.
Game.
Yeah. I mean, do you think now that another development company is taking control of this?
Yeah, people can fly.
Yeah. Do you think
that Bulletstorm, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think that's going to impact the multiplayer elements? Do you think they could take this and run with it?
Well, they're kind of throwing a lot of new stuff in the multiplayer, especially like now with the class system that they've added in.
I see it like they really buffed out like the beast mode to the game.
Yeah.
And then they just added it to all the characters. Because beast mode, what it used to be, it was a reverse role that you played as the Locust going against the I guess human race. But now you do Locust versus humans, and they both have class systems to it.
Okay.
There's your obvious engineer, medic, assault.
Yeah.
There's one more.
I think probably like heavier
arms,
specialist.
Heavy arms or something like that.
The biggest thing for it, I mean, like even though like they're going out and rehashing the multiplayer, it's gives you a little bit more time with new protagonists. Now that they've kind of focused on Baird.
Yeah.
That's been like one of the big controversy right now. It's because they're getting away from Marcus, which people know, but they're also going into like new territory.
But I think they made a good choice because Baird's kind of beloved, and I mean, if you pick him or Cole, you're gonna have
and those are the two main people that you run with.
Right.
So you got like, woo, it's the Cole train, and then you got like this asshole over here.
Smart ass.
Come on, get up. I want to do this to you.
It's like I'm dying here. But I think it's a good go for it because they're going back to like, you know, some of the characters, they're fleshing them out, and then also, you know, just kind of giving you a little bit more of an origin story closer to E-Day when everything started. So
yeah,
looks promising. Have high hopes.
I want to know how Marcus gets in jail from Gears of War 1, because that's how the game starts altogether, is they're just knocking him out of jail. And I think either this game or the game afterwards, because they're probably going to slate another one right after this, is going to go right up to Gears of War 1 altogether.
I just want to see if they're going to have as many curse words in the game as they did like in Bulletstorm. It's like hopefully people can fly and hold up their reputation.
Yeah, they have a reputation upheld.
Always wanted to f you, and now you come to f me.
I guess the big one everyone's looking forward to is GTA.
Heck yeah.
And I know, Jordan, you've been really looking forward to this title.
Yeah, I've been a fan. I mean, like most people, I jumped in with GTA 3. I mean, that was probably the one that brought most people into it, just having the full 3D experience. And I went through Vice City, San Andreas, and 4. And yeah, I'm pretty pumped about this. I'm shocked here that the world's as large as, you know, Liberty City, San Andreas, and Red Dead Redemption combined. I'm still wrapping my mind around how that can work, but the
Red Dead's maps were huge.
I know, and I think they're going to stack San Andreas on top of that and Liberty City, and it could even be bigger than that. It's mind-boggling. It's all be within Los Santos, is obviously as a model of Los Angeles and the surrounding areas. But yeah, I mean, it's the only thing I worry about is that it seems to be the trailer focuses on showing that they mainly do heist missions and stuff like that. And I know in GTA 4, the big heist mission with Nico was like probably the most favorite mission, at least amongst the people I knew. And I'm afraid they'll focus mainly just on heists and not other mission types. But I'm sure I trust Rockstar. I'm sure there's going to be mission variety. And I know it's going to be a good-looking game. They've already promised the most cars they've ever had in any single game.
I don't care how many cars you own, you ain't changing.
So, I mean, it looks amazing. I'm going to pre-order it, and I'm pumped about it.
Yeah, they talked about there's a lot more micro, like how, what was it, San Andreas was, where you could buy property and character customization and everything. They're bringing all that stuff to it back.
To a certain extent, I read they're not going to be able to change the body type and stuff like that because HD models are a little harder to make it look proper. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping for a full fleshed out sandbox game. I mean, Liberty, GTA 4 was fun, but to think that it could be just that much more grand is mind boggling. I'm really excited about it.
And then you have the 3 main characters that they have featured in the game.
Yeah, Michael, Trevor, and Franklin, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's going to be, and then being able to switch between them on the fly?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that works because they make it seem like they're going to be 3 doing their own thing. So when you switch on the fly, does that mean you're going to warp to wherever the other character's at? I mean, I hope it's that, not just like they just drop into a different player,
Drop in on a parachute.
Because the dev was talking about it, was like, you could have one guy just riding a bicycle down the street, and like at a certain time of day, the next character could be with his girlfriend.
Okay.
So like, I'm guessing timing has a real big change to it too. Like if Shamir was like, oh, I have to be home at 6 o'clock, or mom's gonna be mad. These guys would be like, I got at 6 o'clock, I got a heist to be at.
Right.
So yeah, we got a lot of great stuff to look forward to in the next several months here. I'm anxious to get my hands on a lot.
Almost definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna be broke.
Yeah, we're all gonna be broke.
My bank account's gonna be depleted.
Yeah.
Hey, let's bounce. Bounce. We're bouncing now.
So we'll close it up for the day, guys, and that's all we have for this episode. Feel free to follow us on Twitter at ultness, and also visit our website, ultness.com. Tune in next week when we discuss the best and worst Christmas films. I'm McBalls, and we'll see you next time on That's Alt.
I'm Alt.
Yeah, because it is.
I'm Alt. He's Alt.
I'm the most ult.
I don't think I am.
I'm pretty excited about Bioshock Infinite. I am a little worried though with the delay and then them totally nixing the multiplayer.
I'm kind of happy
with that. I'm happy about that, but it worries me that they delayed it for the multiplayer and they're like, oh wait, no, it sucks. And it makes me worry there's other problems with the game.
They should just keep it a single player. That's what made it big.
Right.
That's what made Bioshock 1 was amazing just because it was the story itself.
I maybe played Bioshock 2's multiplayer like once, and I was like, okay, that's enough of that, so.
It was kind of just half-assed anyway.
Right. It was just kind of paint by numbers multiplayer shooter.
It's like, hey, everything's got to have multiplayer. Let's do it.
Right. So there's something to be said about a game that's just strictly single player.
Yeah, and I like the set piece that they have going into it as well. Especially for
you think about those are the games that people remember, like the iconic single player campaign from BioShock. But no one's gonna BioShock. But no one's gonna look back and say, oh, that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1. They release another one every year. Multiplayer is something that only gets improved upon,
right?
For the most part.